Evictions and economic conditions. This is Team 2262-1 from Mountain Vista in Denver, Colorado. Evictions are a growing crisis in the United States, disproportionately affecting low-income communities and increasing financial instability. According to data from eviction labs, millions of renters face evictions each year, with states having weaker tenant protections experiencing significantly higher rates. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, reports that rising unemployment often correlates with eviction spikes, as job loss directly impacts a household's ability to pay rent. This study examines eviction rates, unemployment levels, median incomes, provide insight into the housing crisis. By identifying economic factors that link with eviction, we can make much better policies to promote stability. Moving on to our purpose and importance. Eviction rates affect low-income families in the United States, as stated before, creating severe economic and social repercussions. Increasing rents, flat wages, and various conditions experienced at the beginning of the 2020s have pushed more and more families into depression, threatening their livelihood with the removal from their dwellings. Not only do eviction rates affect these low-income families, but also small businesses that require a steady supply of consumers to stay afloat. This study highlights key financial factors of housing instability. This understanding can guide actions to prevent evictions and support vulnerable groups like low-income communities. Moving on to our methods. Data was compiled from eviction labs, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and the U.S. Census Bureau, then analyzed and visualized using statistical methods, such as our following graphs. So moving on to our first graph. As you can see by the scatter plot, as the unemployment rate rises, so does the eviction rate. Now, it is important to keep in mind this data was taken across multiple U.S. cities. This correlation shows that as unemployment rates rise, so do eviction rates, meaning they're directly connected. This is most likely because employees that are put out of business or unemployed are unable to pay their rent and are kicked out by their landlords. Moving on to our second graph, we decided to analyze 16 states across the US and see whether they had strong or weak tenant protections. The red ones, or the ones with weak tenant protection, had a high eviction rate levels, or compared to the blue ones, or the ones with strong tenant protection, which had low eviction rates. This shows that if a state has strong tenant protections, it is more likely to have a low eviction rate.
Moving on to the third graph, which analyzes the impact of inflation and wage growth on eviction rates. This graph tracks inflation, wage growth, and eviction rates from 2014 to 2025. It shows that when inflation rises faster than wages, eviction rates also increase, highlighting the link between economic strain and eviction risks. Now let's discuss the conclusion. Evictions are closely linked to economic instability. During downturns, job losses, low wages, and high rent burdens lead to rising eviction rates, especially among marginalized communities, worsening housing insecurity. While rental assistance and wage increase offer some relief, financial disparities and rising housing costs continue to put vulnerable populations at risk. However, with stronger protections and targeted policies, progress towards long-term housing security is possible. Now let's discuss the next steps. To fully understand eviction trends, further research is necessary to examine how research and socioeconomic factors influence eviction rates. Regular analysis will help assess the effectiveness of current policies and explore the ongoing impact of inflation, of wage stagnation and housing shortages on housing stability. By deepening our research into these areas, we can better inform policies aimed at reducing evictions and improving housing security for vulnerable populations.
Thank you for listening to our presentation.